Okay. So, let me mute every. So, Rebecca is at work. Okay. So, tonight I want to talk about placement. And basically, what that means is when you start building a team and you start signing up coaches, you need to make sure that they get placed where you want them to go. So you have a right leg and a left leg. And I'm going to try not to get into too many details about like strong leg versus weak leg and volume and all of that tonight. I just want to talk about placement as you're getting started as a new coach and you're working towards becoming an emerald and then working towards becoming a diamond coach. So the easiest way to do that, I think, is for me to share my screen. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this. I've done it before. Let's see. Desktop. Okay. Share screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Yes, okay. So when you go to your coach office, the easiest way to get to it is to go to Monitor My Business. And then if you go to, let's see, Graphical Genealogy, this will kind of show you how you have the two different legs. And I think seeing it like this might make it make more sense. So this is me here at the top. And my first coach on my left leg right here is Kayla. And then I had somebody here cancel, but my first coach on my right leg is Carol. So if I was working to become an emerald coach, that just means me plus two people. So I would need one person on my left leg and one person on my right leg. And to make sure that happens, you can go to Monitor My Business and then this preferred placement down here in the downline box. If you click on that, then there are different options here. So I think when you sign up your first coach, it's automatically going to go to your left leg. So if it's your first coach, you really don't have to worry about like right versus left. The only time that you are going to need to think about it is when you sign up that second coach, because if for some reason they end up getting signed up on the same leg as your first one, and so then you would have 2 on your left, say, and 0 on your right, then even though you have your 2 coaches, because they're not on the correct legs, then you're not going to be an emerald. So as you're a brand new coach and working towards emerald and diamond, I would go in here to preferred placement and make sure that it is set to where you want it to be before you have anyone sign up. So on this, so you can set it to this setting, which is automatic. And if you do that, I think, I am not 100% sure on this, but I think that it would make it to where your first coach would go on your left and your second coach would go on your right, but I'm not sure. So I always just check this set preferred placement option, and then placement ID, this should be your coach ID. And then this last one is select position. So you have different options here. And I always just pick either if I want them on my left or I want them on my right. That way I know exactly where they're going. You can also pick weak outside leg, which would mean whichever leg is your weak leg, which means it has the lesser amount of volume, it would go there. And as you start growing your business, that's going to be more beneficial for you to be signing people up on your weaker leg. But I don't want to get into all the details of all of that tonight, just because I haven't really prepared to talk about all of that. So let me see what this chat says. Yeah, and like Becca just said, you do have, if you sign somebody up and they go in the wrong place, you have 5 days from the date that they signed up to fix it. And all you have to do is fill out a form on the Team Beachbody website under the FAQ. It's super simple, but it's just something that is like an extra step that is not really necessary, and you don't really want to have to do it unless it's just a mistake. So, how do I close this? Another way for you to look at your downline, I just want to talk about this while we're here and while I'm sharing my screen, is if you go to Monitor My Business and then Sponsorship Drill Down. When I'm checking my downline, this is where I always go because it is the easiest way to look, especially once you start building a pretty good sized team. Looking at the graphical genealogy is going to get a little more confusing, and it's going to be hard to see everyone. So this is my sponsorship drill down, and what I like about this is it shows all of these are my personally sponsored coaches. But then, like, if I click on Dana here, I can drill down and see who is signed up under her. So, oh, and you have another person. What? Way to go. Okay, so you can see who is signed up under her also. And so that helps me, like, as a coach and as your leader, it's kind of my job and a little bit part of my responsibility to look out for you too. And so on Wednesdays, especially, since rank advancements go into effect on Thursdays and paydays are on Thursdays, especially on Wednesdays, I go in and I look at everyone to make sure, like, okay, if they're an Emerald coach, are they going to stay an Emerald coach when we wake up tomorrow? Or is there something in there that looks a little bit messed up, or somebody's going to go inactive and they don't realize it? Because when you look at your own every day, it's really easy to overlook things that might mess you up. And like having me or Becca or somebody look at it for you and can sometimes save you a lot of trouble. So I always try to do that. And this is also where you can see, okay, this is a new feature that they've given us. You see this like delinquent, that means that they hadn't paid their website fee. And so that's something that if they want to continue to be a coach for the discount, then they need to make sure that they've paid their website fee. And this tells you if they're current or not. And it tells you whether or not they're active. If they're red and it says inactive, that means that on Thursday, if they don't do something between now and Thursday, they're going to go inactive. So the red is kind of like a warning. So if you are, say you're an Emerald coach and you have, I don't know if y'all can see me or not, but you have your one coach on your left over here and your one coach on your right, and they're both active for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, however long it is until their auto shipment is supposed to come in. That's going to keep them active. Say that they, for some reason, they cancel their auto shipment for that month, or they postpone it for another week or something. If they're going to go inactive, this will tell you by making them red. But if you don't talk to them about it, then if they do go inactive, then you would lose your rank as an Emerald, because to hold your rank, your two coaches that you have, they both have to be active. And that goes for all ranks. So as you start growing, you have to make sure that, like for Diamond, you have to have 4 active coaches on your right, 4 active coaches on your left, and then one of those on each leg has to be an Emerald. So staying active, and all you have to do to stay active is have 50 PV, which is personal volume points. I think it's every 5 weeks to stay active. So like, this is Tyler's account right here that says inactive. So if I don't, pretty much, he's only a coach because I signed him up to help me make Diamond. And I order my performance supplements off of his account. So that way I get the volume and I get the discount. But if I don't order something on his account before Thursday, then he's going to go inactive. And I can look on here and say, do I really care if he goes inactive or not? So like, this is the last person that's on my left leg, and to stay Diamond, I need to keep 4 active people on that leg. So I can look and say, okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4 active coaches that I'm going to have on my left leg, even if he goes inactive. So if he does, it's not really going to be a big deal for me this week, but I'm probably going to go ahead and order something on his account just to keep him active, just because I like to keep it that way as a personal preference. So that is pretty much the easiest thing about placement, is just to go in there and make sure it's set to the right place before you send a share cart, or before you have somebody going to your website to sign up. Just go to your back office, set your placement, and make sure they're going where you want them to. That way you don't have to worry about it. What was I had something I wanted to say, but I lost my train of thought. So after you hit emerald, you have your 2 coaches, 1 on each leg. As you're building towards diamond, I would just alternate your placement. So I would sign up somebody on your left and then your right. And then your 3rd coach, I would put them on your left. And just alternate it back and forth between left and right until you have your 4 on each leg. And the only other thing that you want to consider when you're working towards diamond is, since you have to have an emerald on each leg, if you have 3 people that want to sign up, and one of them only wants to do it for the discount, but the other 2 are kind of interested in coaching. One is like, yes, all the way, I want to do this, I want to build the business. And the other one is, yes, I'm pretty sure I want to build the business. I might want to be more of a hobby coach, but I'm not sure. So the only thing you want to think about is, I would not put those 2 coaches that are interested in building the business on the same leg. Because when you get to, if you're almost diamond, say you have your 4 active coaches on each leg and you're just trying to get your emeralds, then you're not going to want those 2 girls who are wanting to build the business on the same leg. Because if they both go emerald, it's not going to help you get to diamond. You need one of them on one leg and one on the other. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can figure out how to do it. And you all can unmute yourself, and if you have any questions. I know that was like kind of a lot, and it can be kind of confusing until you start doing it yourself. But if you all have any questions, I want to go ahead and answer them. Anybody just wants to raise their hand if they have anything.
I have a question.
Okay.
So when it comes to the volume part of it, and for instance, like I had two people sign up as coaches, and then I just had another girl, which I didn't realize that she would probably go to the side that she went to. I thought she would go to the other side because I had it on the preferred, or not the automatic. Okay. Yeah. And I thought she would go to the other side, but she went to the one side, which it's fine because that's not a problem. But as far as like volume, how does that work as far as helping? Do we help other teammates? I mean, as far as volume when people sign up, or is it mostly just us?
Okay. So every time somebody signs up or orders something, there is a volume number associated with everything. So if you take one of your ladies, so Kathy, when Kathy signed up, there was a certain amount of volume associated with her order. That will roll up to you and turn into the reason that volume matters is when you start making team cycle bonus, which happens when you become an emerald. So now that you're emerald, you're going to start making what's called team cycle bonus every week. And so as you get that volume, so it would roll up to you, and then your volume kind of rolls up into me, and my volume goes to Emily, and it goes on up, okay? So when you start making team cycle bonus, it's a ratio of 2 to 1. So for one cycle, and I think what you make as an emerald, if you have your one cycle, is $14. But what that means is, say you had 200 volume points on your left leg and 100 volume points on your right leg. that would make one cycle because you have to have 200. You would subtract 200 from one side, subtract 100 from the other side, and that would be one cycle.
Okay.
And because you didn't have any more volume, then that would be you would only have one cycle that week.
Okay. So both your legs work together.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
So they work together, and there's different advantages to having, and that's why you have like a strong leg versus a weak leg, is because your strong leg is going to be the one that usually has the most volume on it. And for some people, that's always the same leg. Like for me, that's always my left leg. But it's just because of the coaches who are on my left leg and how long they've been there and like the work that they do. But some people, it might go back and forth. Like some people, their strong leg, 1 week might be their left leg and the next week it might be their right. So like people like that kind of have more even legs than weak versus strong. And this is something that I am going to commit to learning a little bit more about just because I want to know what the advantages are to each option. But pretty much if you're going based off of what team cycle bonus is, which is 200 points, 100 points, you subtract the same amount from each side however many times you can until you can't subtract anymore.
Yeah, so it actually isn't bad to have a weak leg. But
you want to have that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. It's not bad to have even legs either.
Right. You just want it to be where you can cycle as many times as you can.
Okay.
So say I have like 10,000 on my left leg and 5,000 on my right leg. I would subtract, the way they calculate it is they subtract 200 points from my left one because it's the strong one. It had the most. So they're going to 200 points away from that one and 100 points away from my right. And they're going to keep doing that, 200, 100, 200, 100, until they get all the way down to where they can't subtract 100 anymore. And then whatever's left, say they subtract all the way down, and I had 150 or 50 points left on my right leg. So that meant I couldn't cycle anymore. Then that volume rolls over to the next week. You don't
lose nothing.
You don't lose it unless you go inactive. If you let your account go inactive, you lose everything that you've built up. But as long as you stay active, whatever volume you have left over every week just rolls over to the next.
Okay.
And that's like me, like my personal situation right now, my rollover volume on my left leg is like 9,000. And my rollover volume on my left leg is like 50. So I'm like very, very out of balance right now. But it's because Becca is on my left leg and she's super, super strong. So all of that is really contributing to that side of my business. But for a really, really long time, until just here in the last couple of months, I haven't had anyone really besides discount coaches on my right leg. So that's why like when you signed up, I intentionally put you on my right leg because I knew you were wanting to build the business, right? So like that's just the kind of thing, and you're not always going to be right. Like you're not always going to say like, oh, I know this girl's going to build the business, I'm putting her over there, and then she might not. It's kind of a guessing game, but you just kind of know, like take what you know and what they tell you and like make a strategic decision on where to put them to be most beneficial for you.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm glad you told me that because I actually have another girl that I've been talking to, and I think she will join. I'm kind of surprised she hadn't yet, but she wants to be a coach too. So I'm glad you told me that because now I'm going to make sure that she goes over to my other side because Candy wants to be a coach, so I want to make sure that I switch her over so she's not with her.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you told me. Okay.
He's exactly right.
I have some really good videos too that helped me because when I first started looking into this, I was really confused when I started like hearing about it. And these videos really helped. It explained it in a way, like a visual way that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
So,
visually laying this stuff out
yeah.
helps so much, and that's something that I didn't do that for this. But if you want to share those, I think that would really help.
Yeah. I'll just post them in the comments of the link to this,
Okay,
the Zoom link.
that would be awesome.
Because it makes so much more sense when you can see it, I think.
It does.
Yeah.
Like,
Because what? Yeah. What was a little bit confusing, I even asked Allison about it, because when I got my two people, I had Kathy and Kim, but I could see Kim, but I couldn't see Kathy on my tree. You know what I mean? I don't see the
That's
other girl.
why I do sponsorship drill down, because I think it's just way easier, because you can even go to like, I don't remember what it's called, but you can like change your the way that you want to see it to where you can just see the people on your left or just see the people on your right. Like you
Yeah.
can select at the top
It's
so
like,
that you can
it's like a filter.
yeah, filter. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, sponsorship drill down is definitely the place you want to go, especially when you start getting like 10 or 15 people on each leg and you're trying to keep track, and this person's
Right.
enrolled and this person has one coach and all of
Because
that.
you'll also see like your coach, like, so if you're under Allison and Allison signs up a coach that's beneath you, you'll see that too. And then you'll be like, what? Like, I don't even know who that is. Like,
I think that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, because like I can see on my left hand, like when I'm looking at it, and I'm gonna say left when I'm looking at it on my computer, and then I can see Kim there. But then on the right hand side is another girl, and I'm like, I don't know who she is, and I was like so confused. I was like, did I mess up the way I had her join, or what did I do? So yeah, it's very confusing.
That view of it is very confusing because it's like, so that girl could have been somebody I signed up, or it could have been somebody Emily signed up. Like the way that it's kind of like a tree, to where when you're building in the beginning, you're always putting people on the outside, like outside, and it just keeps getting wider and wider. And then usually, I think, hey, I think,
Hey, I made it.
spilled water all over
I
myself.
think like there is a way, like instead of me putting somebody on my outside leg, like say I know Becca is building this business and she wants to quit her job, and I think I could sign someone up to where they were on my left leg, but on my inside of my left leg under her, and it would like I'm not really sure.
Hey, Allison, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if anybody else is, but
Can't hear anything.
Is that better?
can you hear her, Rebecca? I can't hear her either.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah.
So weird. This always does this to me, like halfway.
That's why I got my phone up to my ear, you all. I'm not trying to like make sure you see me.
No, you're fine. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So there is a way where you can start signing people up and place them more like on the inside of your legs instead of the outside. But I need to learn more about how to do all of that before I start like trying to tell y'all how to do it, because I've never done that before. So, does anybody else have any other questions? Nope. Everybody good?
I think after this, like maybe on a different call, we should talk more about volume and like the benefits of rank advancement and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Now that we've kind of covered this.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful, because this is kind of like the first thing you need to worry about, and then like volume and rank advance and all of that is kind of your next step. And because of team cycle bonus, like as an emerald, it's a certain amount. When you get to diamond, you start making a little more. Your star diamond, it's more than that. So just kind of so we can see it and plan it out a little bit better. especially if you have financial goals for this business, then understanding how volume translates into dollars is very, very important. Because I just now, like, I have a number in mind of how much I would like to make a week in my business, but I had never figured out, okay, if I want to make that much money in a week, what does that really mean? Like, what does my volume in my business need to be for that to actually happen?
I do have a question. Ashley, I don't know if you know, because I don't. Ashley keeps putting her preferred placement she keeps setting it to her left, and then it should just, like when I set it to left or right, it'll stay that way till I change it again.
Yeah.
But hers is not doing that. It keeps defaulting back to her right. She has to, like, because she has a lot on her right and just 2 on her left. And she keeps trying to put people over there, and she's not checking it because she's already, like, set it that way. But it keeps going back to the right. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't either. That's really weird. So she has it set to, like, left, like the option that just says left?
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's really weird because I know there is an option on there that's like weak outside leg or something like that, whatever. And there's another one that has like a bit of a longer description. But I don't know. Maybe she should call them and ask them and like tell them what's going on. And
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I was like, well, we can at least see. You might know when we were talking today, but
yeah, no, I've never had that happen.
Yeah, I thought it was like a glitch or something.
No, because like right now I have my preferred placement set to right because my right leg is so much weaker. So I've just been like, everybody that I sign up just goes over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and eventually, like with everyone who has joined the team lately who like wants to build the business, y'all are all on my right leg. So eventually my right leg will probably end up being the strong one. But for now, until I get them at least a little bit more even or like 2-to-1 ratio, that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Yeah.
So.
Mine's like that too right now because I have Ashley on my left and she's really strong and it's like my volume's all mismatched.
Yep, mine is too. Alrighty. Well, does anybody have any other questions? It doesn't have to be about placement or anything. If there's like just anything that you're struggling with right now that you want to talk about, or I'm going to stop recording.